Hey guys, Red Pen Mining here. Hope you're doing well. Having a really great day this video. Alright, as some of you know, I have been on a couple of AI platforms when it comes to renting out my GPUs, and I have a singular RTX 5090 here that I notably had on Salad for quite a while. Then I had it a little bit on Clore, and then I had it a little bit on another platform, I think Octaspace. And then I now am trying a new platform, which I've never tried before, and that is going to be Vast.Ai. Not sponsored by them, but I am currently auto-installing it right now on this system in a very easy way. And I just wanted to quickly show you guys how I'm doing that. Thanks to maxvoltage.tech, he's got a singular install for installing Vast.Ai. So it comes with a pre-configured Ubuntu server install, an ISO, which you just need to burn on a USB stick using Rufus. Then there's a Vast.Ai install script. It automates the driver, the CUDA setup, and the node registration, step-by-step installation instructions in a PDF. It supports OneDrive and 2-drive configurations and email support if you hit a snag. So I'm actually doing the OneDrive configuration on my 5090 for Vast. I just have a singular 1 terabyte NVMe on this system, a Ryzen 9 7945HX. I'm using like the Minis Forum motherboard, as some of you may have seen this build that I've done for a singular 5090, 64 gigs of RAM. So if you guys are interested in purchasing this one-time purchase, which you can utilize this on multiple Vast.Ai rigs, okay, as you go along and add more rigs, you can use the same install. Granted, there are some things you need to change in the script in terms of, port forwarding, the ports, as well as the, machine name and stuff, but it's a one-time purchase, $49.99. If you use code RPAI, Max Voltage made that code for us, gives you another 10% off. So link down below if you guys are interested in Mr. Max Voltage one-click install for Vast.Ai. As some of you may have seen in the live stream, I had a fun time trying to install Vast myself, doing all the commands and just having such a hard time. Really bad time because archive for Ubuntu was down, and so that's why I wasn't updating. But I just got the ISO from Max up and running on that USB stick. So it's going through the install still. Looks like it's going to take a little bit because it's also doing a update of all the apps and such. As most of you know, I have been predominantly on another AI platform for GPU rental called SimplePod. And I have my 3060s and my 3090s on that platform right now, and it's just been continually rented for these two servers here. Just to show you here, I have two servers on SimplePod right now, and they're 6 3090s, and I have 10 3060 12 gigabyte cards, and they are fully rented. Actually, 2 3060s are not rented right now, but the rest of them are rented. 3090s are rented. So I've been earning pretty good on this platform thus far, and I do plan on adding more rigs to SimplePod. You guys may be asking, Red Panda, how come you didn't add your 5090 to SimplePod.ai? Well, unfortunately, they're actually not looking to add more 5090s or even 4090s to their platform. And so I'm actually thinking about adding like lower end GPUs like 3090s, 3080s on their platform. So I do have a bunch of new servers coming, and I may be going heavy on that. So you guys should stay tuned for more videos on that. I am going to be expanding more towards the AI, or AI, quote unquote AI, GPU rental platforms for simply just renting out the GPU instead of, crypto mining. Because as of right now, or as I've been seeing, I'm sure you guys have been seeing, that GPU rental has been okay, depending which platforms you've been on. Now, there's been some things that I've seen over the past year, and this is why I'm kind of going more towards server cases. So I'm not necessarily going to be building a lot of, singular rigs with a singular CPU, 64 gigs or 32 gigs of RAM, single 4090. I do have a bunch of 4090s that I do want to turn on. I'm actually wanting to try Vast with a bunch of these 4090s and my 5090s that I have. So I'm going to be doing that slowly. I'm going to be using, of course, Max's one-click install. That's going to be, nice and easy. But I know there's been a bunch of other platforms out there, like Clore or Salad. Those platforms, there hasn't been much demand, I'd say, for a lot of these rigs that have, you know, singular GPU setups. But on Vast, I think I've seen, if you have the higher end GPUs like 3090s, 4090s, 5090s, those have been a lot more popular, a lot more in demand versus, you know, 3060s or, you know, 3070s or 3080s. But I have seen like multi GPU setups like 3060s, 3070s, 3080s even, you know, being rented. And so that's why I'm kind of going towards the server case realm and having the multi GPU setup in order to get those types of GPUs rented, like 3080s, 3070s, you know, those types of GPUs, not singular rigs that haven't been, I guess, in demand in a sense. So I'm gonna see how it goes, and that's what I've been working towards, or I am working towards right now. Okay, Max's install is still going here. And I just wanted to show you guys here, yeah, there's 3 files. Once you purchase this, basically you get the ISO, the automated auto install ISO, so you don't need to, you know, click next, 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 or do anything. It's already automated, so that's great, right? This is the file that you're gonna be using Rufus to install on a USB stick, just like that, and then you boot into it, and it just auto installs onto your hard drive, right? And you have to specify in the Vast-setup.sh whether or not you're doing 2 disks or 1 disk. I'm doing 1 disk, so it knows that, you know, I'm doing 1 disk versus 2. And yeah, there is the Vast setup guide that Max has created here. I just open it up in Notepad just to read it, as well as the setup guide. You have to open this up to put in your Vast.ai key, and as well as a few other options like port forwarding. You need to put the ports designated there. I'm going to be doing 40,000 and up, 40,000 and then 40,100, about 100 ports per rig. So yeah, as I have more, or per GPU, sorry, so as you have more, you have to add more ports for that in the setup file. So what's great about this, I guess, one-click install, not one-click install, but the script install, is that once you set up more rigs, you do have to edit each time, each system that you're going to be doing. So Mr. Max Voltage, amazing setup here, super easy to do. I can't wait to get my first rig going here. So I just wanted to show here, so since I'm wanting to go on Vast.ai, all right, this is the platform I'm going to be trying, you know, versus, you know, Clore or Salad or Octaspace. There's a bunch of them out there, and to be honest, I haven't had great luck. But with Vast, I just want to show here how many 5090s are on these platforms, or 4090s and 3090s. So currently, as of recording, there's about over 5,000 of these GPUs, 5090s, on the platform. So it looks like about 3,300 of them are rented right now, verified. All right, so this is a whole other thing. Okay, my 5090 that I'm going to be putting on isn't verified yet, because I obviously haven't had it online for a good amount of time, but hopefully I can be verified, you know, very soon, because I also have fiber. And but there's a bunch that are not rented and unverified. So 263 unverified. Available, oh sorry, that's rented, but available is 547. So a good chunk of people that are unverified are not rented. So I'm probably going to be in this realm for a good while. All right, so the name of the game with Vast is to stay online as much as possible, and then, you know, hopefully you'll get rented eventually. But 4090s, you know, these are very popular GPUs as well. There's 4,200 of these on the platform currently, and about 2,700 of them are rented. There's about 928 of them unrented, or available verified, but rented in terms of unverified, 163, but then there's a 409 unverified. 3090s, now these are somewhat popular, but there's a lot less on the platform. So about 2,000 of them on Vast.ai currently, and there's 1,215 of them rented. Available 364, rented 171 unverified, and available unverified 314. So I think a good like 60 to 70%, you know, rented in terms of demand on these platforms for these GPUs, and I think a 60 to 70% utilization rate on Vast is pretty good, right? Pretty good rental rate on this platform. Unlike Clore or Octaspace or Salad, it was very hit and miss, right? Anyone that was, I mean, you guys know. I know a lot of you guys that are watching right now that have been on those platforms, you may have seen the demand really, you know, drop off over the past year. Hasn't really been that great at all. So here I am, you know, trying another, another platform, Vast. And so we're gonna see how well this one does for me. And yeah, like again, you guys know, like on SimplePod, I've had good luck with 3090s being rented, my 3060s being rented. So I think it's just, there's a lot of variables at play when it comes to, getting on these platforms. Not only do you have to have decent hardware, but you need to have the internet. You need to have, I'd say, fiber internet. You need to have great uptime. There's a bunch of things at play, whether or not you're going to be rented or not. And I think price as well. Price that you have set at for your rigs also matters in a sense. And actually, another battle that I've just been working on as I've been doing this is my networking. Okay, networking is a whole other battle. So you guys know I'm on multiple platforms, Vast, and my 170HXs are rented right now to a private renter. For those that have been keeping up with my channel, I have about 80 170HXs online right now for gentlemen who I have Hive OS on all of them, and then I enabled SSH and private key in order to access this. So he's in his own VLAN and he can access all these rigs in one go. All right, so he's been utilizing it. He's paying me about $7 to $8 per rig, about 90 cents per 170HX. So I'm earning a good amount, a decent amount over GPU mining. So I'm essentially just renting these out and I'm earning money that way. That's kind of like the shift that a lot of GPU miners have been moving towards. And so I have been getting hit up. I'm getting hit up by a lot of people wanting to rent more GPUs from me. I do have more 170HXs that I gotta get on. I have about 8 more here. I have another 48 in another box and a couple of boxes that I've been wanting to turn on as well. But that's gonna take a bit of time. And then I'm on SimplePod. But again, networking is just a whole other factor, right? You gotta make sure you have your network security all set up before you do something like this or wanting to get into something like this. And I know that this is something that a lot of people do not want to get into because it's, one, expensive to buy all this type of stuff. Two, if you're not into networking and you've never done it before, it's definitely like something that can go over your head. And for me, it is something that I've done before, but it takes a lot to make sure you have everything all set. I do have 5 static IPs, and I am designating one per platform. Then you have to worry about the ports that you're using, and you're not overlapping rigs based on the static IPs you already have. And yeah, I have a lot of services and a bunch of other stuff that I'm running, so it's been kind of like just a operating nightmare in terms of just networking and going through all that in my Ubiquiti, because I got over 30 plus types of VLANs, and so just making sure that's all set up for all my AI stuff. My GPU rental stuff is something that cannot be overlooked, okay? That cannot be overlooked when it comes to doing GPU rental, okay? So having good network security set up is paramount, especially when it comes to doing this type of stuff, AI, GPU rental, okay? You gotta make sure that's all set up. Oh man, okay, so looks like, all right, Max's install here is still going, so I'm gonna let that go. But again, if you guys are interested in Mr. Max Voltage's very simple install to deploy Vast.Ai, go check him out on his website, maxvoltage.tech. I'll have it linked down below. You can use code RPAI for another 10% off if you guys want to try Vast.Ai. Alright, I'll update you guys in another video. I'm just going to be putting stuff offline so I can have time to do this all. But I'll update you guys in another video how my Vast journey goes with all of this. Okay, so I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know your thoughts. Mr. Max Voltage, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Peace out. Peace out.